So we're going to start off introducing the new product, which is the Single Stack 9, the G43. We are extremely excited about this product, and Bob's going to go over the specs to begin with, and so we've got another camera here for a close-up. So Bob, why don't you take us through the pistol?
I'd be happy to, Kai. The G43 is a single stack 9mm pistol with 6 plus 1 magazine capacity. The overall length of the pistol is 6.26 inches. The width of the pistol is 1.02 inches. The slide is 0.87 inches wide. The height, top to bottom, with a flush fit magazine is 4.25 inches, and the barrel length is 3.39 inches. The weight with the magazine, but gun unloaded, is 17.95 ounces. So that gives you a very good size for concealed carry, pocket carry, that type of thing.
So I noticed we've also got something else that's new for Glock over here in the second camera. That's bright orange. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Bob?
I sure can, Kai. The Glock is introducing a new product as well as the G43, and these will be available very shortly. It's a dummy training round, basically a polymer dummy round available in 9mm, 40 cal, and 45 ACP. The use of dummy rounds in training would be for, you can use ball and dummy, which is having an empty cartridge in your magazine just to see how you are controlling the gun. It also works for practicing malfunction drills, clearance drills, that type of thing. So it's just another product that Glock is bringing out for the benefit of our customers. And you can see here the pistol or the dummy rounds come in a 50-round box in 9mm, 40, and 45, and retail on those will be approximately $20.
So Bob, we're getting quite a few questions in about the magazines. How many magazines does the pistol come with, and then the different options for the extended capacity or and such?
Okay. The pistol will come exactly as is pictured here, with one flush fit magazine and one extended magazine. The extended magazine does not increase magazine capacity. It is still 6 plus 1 rounds. But the extended magazine, of course, allows you to get your pinky finger on the gun for enhanced control and more comfortable shooting.
So what about, we're getting some more questions about the inner workings of the G43 and how it compares to other Glock pistols. So why don't we look at a disassembled G43 and do some comparisons?
Absolutely. What we have here is your G43 field stripped. Very Glock-like in all regards. If you check the frame itself, you have the Gen 4 style larger magazine catch. The texturing on the G43 is identical to the texture that we used on the G42, which is not quite as aggressive as the Gen 4 texture, but still allows you to get a good firm tactile grip so the gun does not shift in your hand under recoil. Another feature of the frame that was introduced on the G42 and then also used on the G43 is an extended beaver tail on the back of the gun, so that when you get your hand high and tight into the gun, that you don't get yourself pinched if you happen to have a very fleshy hand. In addition to that, still talking about the frame, if you look at the internals, you're going to see everything that you're used to seeing in the Glock pistol. All of the parts and the relationship of the parts is identical, just like our larger guns. It's just in a smaller size. The recoil spring assembly is like our Gen 4 recoil spring assembly, and the same recoil spring assembly style that is used in all of our compact pistols, G26, 27, as well as the G42. The barrel is here again, it's got the same type of rifling as our standard guns, so Glock through and through. If we turn the slide upside down here so you can see the bottom, you will notice that the firing pin safety is in the same identical location as our other pistols, and as well as the firing pin. And flipping it over, you see that the extractor is similar in everything other than size to all of the Glock pistols.
So a good follow-up question to that, Bob. Somebody asked, Erica Horton from Kirkland wants to know if it is a Gen 4. It has a lot of similarities, but it's not actually a Gen 4.
No, it's not a Gen 4 pistol. This is a Gen 3. The main difference between the 43 and the 42, for that matter, and the Gen 4 pistols is that they do not have the modular backstrap system. In addition, they have a non-finger groove grip frame.
Right, right. And the texture of it, it does have that rough frame texture, but it's not, this is something that you brought up earlier, which is a point that I think is relevant in making, since it is designed to be a concealed carry, but it's not so aggressive of a texture that it's not going to catch on your clothes and such.
Exactly. We designed the 43 much like the 42, knowing very well that our customers would use it as a pocket gun. So we didn't want to have the texture too aggressive so that it would grab clothing and that type of thing. So it gives you enough texture to get a good tactile grip on the gun, but it's not overly aggressive to where it will tear up your clothing or that type of thing.
Right. Willard S. from California wants to know if the slide is made in the U.S. or Austria. He sees that both stamps are on the slide in the promo docs. One point, and that's an interesting point that you make, there was a lot of speculation about us coming out with this product, so there were a lot of Photoshop jobs. So the ones that you see with the USA stamp are very convincing Photoshop jobs, so nice job with that one, whoever that was. These are actually an Austrian-made product. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Bob?
I sure can. The G43, unlike the G42, which was not able to be imported and we had to manufacture here in the United States due to government regulations regarding the size of pistols to be imported, the G43 is importable, therefore it can be made in Austria, and the first guns that we manufacture and sell will be Austrian-made guns. In the future, we can also manufacture them here in the United States. So we could have a situation where we have both USA-made guns and Austrian-made guns.
To increase capacity depending on the market.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
We think that we're going to have a lot of people who would like to buy one of these, so we'll make as many
Maybe
as
a
we can.
few. So we've got quite a few questions asking about what comes with the pistol when they purchase it, what's going to come in the box, and also Stephen from Radford, Arlington, Texas, he wants to know if there will be laser sights or night sights that will be available as accessories.
Yeah, laser sights will be available for the gun as soon as the laser manufacturers make them. I'm sure they'll be high on their priority list. As far as night sights, Glock night sights will be available for the G43 within probably about 60 days after launch. The good news is, as far as aftermarket sights go, the G43 uses the same sight set that the G42 does, which has made all of our sight manufacturer friends very happy.
I'm sure it has. So we've got a question from Jordan from California. This is one question that we really anticipated getting. He says, will I ever be able to get a G43 in California?
Well, that depends on the state of California. Currently, those of you that are familiar with California know that the DOJ roster, all guns that are available for sale in California have to be on that roster. Currently, Gen 3 Glocks are on it, but Gen 4s are not, and it has to do with some of the features that they require that are not available currently on the Glock pistol.
Right.
Things like external safety. Even though we do have a loaded chamber indicator, for whatever reason, they do not think that it's sufficient.
Right,
So,
it comes down to legislation. And
yes.
you know, there are a lot of Glocks on the market that were grandfathered into this that you can purchase in California. So it's not necessarily that you can't get a Glock, but unfortunately, there are some newer Glock products that haven't been grandfathered into the legislation.
That's correct.
So, Bob, let's take another question. We've got one from John from Virginia. Will the G42 be on the Blue Label program? And if so, will it be in the same category as the G42 or 36?
As far as on the Blue Label program, yeah, all of our pistols will be available on the Blue Label program. In fact, at the time of launch, which even though we're introducing the pistol today, we're actually going to debut it as far as to the public at the NRA meetings and convention in Nashville, Tennessee, starting April 10th through the 11th and 12th, so that weekend. And so if you're in the Nashville area, please come by and see us. You'll be able to get hands-on the pistol. But the pistols will begin shipping from our distribution network after the NRA convention.
That's actually pretty soon. That's just in a few weeks.
Yeah, April 10th.
Right. So this is our big launch, and it's pretty amazing that we're able to get it out to the folks. The distributors and dealers have already got them on order, so they should actually be on shelves very, very soon. Let's see. Bob, we're getting a lot of questions about sizing compared to pistols, Glock pistols that people currently own. So the most common carries that we have are the G19, 26, and 42. The 19 and the 26 are both 9mm, and the 42 that we introduced last year is a 380. So let's switch to the other camera and take a closer look at the different sizing.
Okay. What we have here is a lineup of our current pistols that we're discussing here. G43 here, G42, you can see it's slightly smaller, and when we have these guns set up, and if you take and overlay them on top of each other, it gives you a very good idea of the profile of the gun. You can see that the G43 is ever so slightly longer and taller than the G40. The G43 is larger than the G42, of course. And that most of that dimensional change has to do with the size of the cartridge itself. The 9mm cartridge overall length is a bit larger than the 380. So the grip frame, this dimension, is larger, and it's also a little bit wider in cross section, but not too much. It's very slightly larger. As compared to the G19 and the G26, if we overlay a G43 on top of a G26, you'll see that the profile is almost identical. It's within 1/8 of an inch in every dimension as far as the gun goes. You will note that the G43 does not have the finger groove style grip frame. In laying the G43 on top of the 19, here again you can see it's approximately 1/2 inch in length, a little bit more than 1/2 inch in height. The key difference between the G43 slimline 9mm single stack and our G26, for example, and of course the G19 has the same width of grip frame because of the dual double column magazine, but you can see there's about 1/4 inch difference in width between the G43 and the G26. Of course, the G26 has a 10-round staggered double stack magazine, and the G43 has a single column 6-round magazine.
Great, thank you. So Dave from Las Vegas has more questions about the magazines, which we went over just a little bit earlier, but if you tuned in later, we'll try and hit these questions again, or we'll hit you via text from our Glock staff. So he wants to know, he knows that they're coming with 2 magazines, but the extended magazine, he's wondering if it's just the pinky or if it actually adds capacity. So Dave, thanks for your question. It doesn't add capacity at this point. In the future, you never know what's going to come out. We might introduce, mags with more capacity, and this might be sufficient. Currently, right now, it's got the extended pinky that adds for more controllable grip if you've got larger hands. I use the standard one. I've got very small hands, and both Bob and I have had quite a few opportunities to shoot this. We've been really lucky to get our hands on this before, well, really anyone else. So, Bob, what was your impression of actually shooting it?
The G43 actually was surprising to me, quite frankly, in the lack of felt recoil and the lack of muzzle flip. Now, we know that the G42 is a very soft shooting gun because of the 380 caliber. 9mm being slightly more powerful, we expected it to be a little bit snappier in recoil. The fact of the matter is, it's not that much different. The G43, like all Glock pistols, has a very low bore axis, so when the gun is in your hand, the line of the bore is deep into your hand, so that helps to preclude any muzzle flip when you're firing the gun, makes the gun recoil straight back instead of trying to cantilever and flip the muzzle up. So therefore the recoil is transmitted straight back into your hand, and there you have more control, and it makes for a very soft shooting pistol.
I had very similar experience. In fact, we had recently, a few weeks ago, a very small group of media folks come in and test it out just to get some additional feedback for test and evaluation, and we went and shot with them as well. And one thing that I thought was actually pretty funny was when we had the G42 and the 43, everyone kept picking up the same pistols, seeing which one was which because they're so similar in size. And also, when you're shooting them, to me, they felt very, very similar.